Have you ever heard of a man made not of flesh and blood, but of river clay and ancient magic? A silent giant who walked the cobblestone streets of old Prague, a protector born from fear and faith. This is the story of the Golem. Our tale begins in the late 16th century, in the heart of Prague's old Jewish quarter. Imagine narrow, winding alleys, crooked roofs leaning against one another, and the dark, flowing curve of the Vltava River. At night, a thick fog would rise from the water, blanketing the ghetto in an eerie silence. This was a time of great fear. The Jewish community lived under the constant shadow of persecution, where a single rumor of blood libel could ignite unimaginable violence. In this tense atmosphere lived a remarkable man, Rabbi Huda ben Bezalel, known to his people as the Mahoral of Prague. He was more than just a scholar. He was a philosopher and a mystic, a man whispered to understand the secret language of creation itself. The weight of his community's suffering rested heavily on his shoulders. He prayed for a way to protect his people from the hatred that surrounded them. Legend says that one night, the answer came to him in a dream. A voice, divine and clear, instructed him to give life to clay, to forge a guardian from the earth. The rabbi, a man of deep faith, knew he must obey. Under the cloak of darkness, Rabbi Lo and two of his most trusted disciples made their way to the banks of the Volga. In the damp, dark mud beside the flowing river, they began to work. They sculpted a figure in the shape of a man, tall, powerful, and utterly silent. The ritual was precise, steeped in ancient mysticism. Following the sacred instructions from his dream, the rabbi knelt and traced holy symbols onto the clay figure's chest, forming the Hebrew word emet, which means truth. Then, for the final, most crucial step, he took a small parchment, a shem, inscribed with one of the ineffable names of God, and carefully placed it into the creature's mouth. A tremor ran through the clay. Its color deepened from pale mud to a dark, earthy brown. The empty hollows of its eyes flickered, then filled with a strange, otherworldly light. The golem stood up. It possessed no voice, no will of its own, only a profound, unwavering obedience to its creator. The rabbi gave him a simple, human name, or sometimes affectionately, Yosalam led the silent giant back into the winding streets of the ghetto. The protector had arrived. By day, the golem was an tireless servant. It hauled heavy buckets of water from the well, chopped endless cords of wood, and repaired the crumbling walls of the ghetto. It never complained, never spoke, and never, ever disobeyed the rabbi's commands. At night, its true purpose was revealed. The golem patrolled the dark, deserted alleys, a silent sentinel ensuring that no harm came to the people sleeping in their homes. Slowly, the community's fear gave way to a sense of security. The townsfolk grew to trust this strange clay being. Children would peek from their windows, watching in awe as the giant figure walked past. His footsteps, heavy but steady on the cobblestones, whispers and stories began to spread. Some said he could vanish into wolves if danger was near, or move without making a single sound. And danger was always near. Soon, a vicious plot was hatched to frame the Jewish community for ritual murder, a false accusation that had led to massacres in the past. But this time, they had a guardian. Acting on the rabbi's command, the golem moved through the city unseen. It found the conspirators, uncovered their fabricated evidence, and delivered them directly to the city authorities, their wicked lies exposed for all to see. The community was saved. From that day on, the legend of the golem grew. Stories of its incredible strength were told and retold. It could lift a loaded wagon with ease, crush solid stone with its bare hands, and see through any deception. But with this immense power came a new, different kind of fear. Some people in the ghetto began to whisper amongst themselves. Was the creature becoming too strong? Was it becoming too aware? Even a protector born of faith could be a source of unease. Rabbi Lo was a wise and cautious man. He understood a fundamental truth. Anything created by human hands, no matter how holy the intention, carries the potential for chaos if left unchecked. To manage this power, he established a strict routine. Every Friday evening, just before the Sabbath began, he would carefully remove the shem, the sacred parchment, from the golem's mouth. This would render the creature inert, allowing it to rest and ensuring it would not profane the holy day with its work. Then, on Saturday night, after the Sabbath had ended, he would restore the Shem, bringing the golem back to life. But one fateful week, burdened by his duties, the rabbi forgot. The Sabbath began, and as the sun set, the golem, still with the Shem in its mouth, awoke on its own. But this time there was no command, no direction from its master. There was only a void, a growing, confusing awareness of its own existence. Chaos erupted. Witnesses later spoke of a terrifying figure wandering through the ghetto, its eyes glowing with a faint, menacing red light, its powerful hands clenched into fists. Doors were shattered, walls cracked, and the people who had once felt protected now hid in terror from their own guardian. When Rabbi Lowe returned from the synagogue, he was met with a scene of destruction. He found the golem standing in the courtyard, trembling, caught between its programming and a nascent, wild consciousness. The rabbi stood before his creation and began to chant ancient, powerful words of unmaking. The light in the golem's eyes flickered and began to fade. The rabbi reached up to the clay chest and erased the first letter of the word I met, the Hebrew word for truth. By removing that single letter, he transformed the word into met, which means death. The golem shuddered one last time and collapsed, its form dissolving back into a lifeless pile of clay. The protector was no more. What happened next is shrouded in mystery. The rabbi ordered the remains of the golem to be carried into the attic of the Old-New Synagogue, one of the oldest in Europe. There, it was said, the clay figure was laid to rest, hidden from the world, waiting. For centuries, it was forbidden for anyone to enter that dusty, sealed-off space. The legend persisted that the golem still lies there, concealed behind ancient scrolls and thick cobwebs, waiting to be called upon again in a time of great peril. Some stories say that during Prague's darkest hours, a faint light can be seen glowing from the synagogue's attic window. Others believe the rabbi destroyed the golem completely, scattering its clay fragments back into the Valtuva River from which it came. But every caretaker of the synagogue for generations has been strictly warned. Do not look too closely into the attic, just in case. So, what does this incredible story mean? Scholars have debated the golem for generations. Is it a cautionary tale about human pride? A warning against the folly of trying to play God? Or is it a powerful symbol of resilience, a desperate dream of a protector in a world that offered none? The golem has been reimagined countless times in literature and film, sometimes as a terrifying monster, other times as a tragic hero. But in Prague, the story remains deeply personal. The old streets still seem to whisper his name. Tourists walk past the Old-New Synagogue, completely unaware that in myth and memory, just above their heads, clay once lived and breathed. And some nights, when the fog rolls in from the river, blanketing the ghetto in its white shroud, a few locals will swear they see a shadow moving across the rooftops broad, silent, and shaped like a man who was never born, but made, and who waits, perhaps, for the day he is needed again. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of legend. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from the crossroads of history and myth. See you next time.